What's up, everyone? Welcome to Untitled Nerd Show, bringing you all the nerdiest discussions on all the nerdy news. We are AD and Tara, joined by Nerdy Farmer and Nerdy Wife.
Hey guys!
Hello!
So today's show is a very special Ellie edition of the Untitled Nerd Show.
I just realized there's a bottle of liquor in the background.
What's up, Leroy? Yes, it is the Ellie edition.
Yes, it is.
There is absolutely no lies about that. We are bringing you all of the Ellie that you want.
Spoilers ahead.
Yeah, if anyone... Well, not many people here, but if anyone new comes in, I guess I should have put a spoiler tag on it or something.
Or if you're watching this on the VOD, there will be spoilers for The Last of Us 2 going forward.
This is your first and only warning.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Where the fuck do we start?
Let me just say, did you save the videos of our reactions?
It's still...
they're on the VODs.
Yeah, it's still on the VOD, but I have to actually save it so it doesn't go away.
Because I just want you to know...
I think somebody clipped it, put it in Discord.
That...
I clipped myself.
Yeah, he clipped himself deleting the game.
Yeah, we didn't...
Yeah, I saw that. Oh my god.
So, I just want you to know that when... First spoiler of the show. When Joel dies, I immediately cried real tears in the moment, live on stream, which I've gotten emotional before and gotten choked up, but like I couldn't prevent the tears from rolling down my face. Like it wasn't a small reaction. It was, and I think that laid the groundwork nicely for the rage that ensued later. Because, I mean, we were, I will admit, I think, with all the shit that we heard, I truly feel like if you watch the beginning of that video, we did go into it with a fairly open mind. Like, we made some jokes. Like, I think I joked when he first started playing as Abby, I was like, just throw her off the cliff. And he did. And it was funny. And we laughed. You know what I mean? Like, but other than that, I was like, okay, I'm keeping an open mind here.
Well, I think just deciding to play the game in the first place was having an open mind.
That's
because
true.
I knew it was...
That's true.
I knew it was going to be disappointing.
But what we both agreed upon that we want to announce to all of our friends out there, and you too, the next time something is coming that's this bad, I'm going to need you to go ahead and spoil it for me. And save me the pain.
I really, really wanted to warn you. I really did.
I know.
Well,
and here's the thing.
You should have.
I should have gotten my clues from when you were saying you almost didn't want to see our reaction because it was going to be that bad. That's when you know it's bad.
I didn't even have a reaction.
But at the same time, like, there have been a lot of people who I've watched go through certain parts of that game and literally be like, that's awful, but I'm glad I did it because it gave me perspective on things or whatever. But, I mean...
Yes, it didn't give you perspective.
Like,
those people are wrong.
I mean,
I don't know who they are, but they're wrong.
But I didn't want to spoil the experience for you. Like, I mean, I didn't know if you were going to get something for it. Like, you know, a lot of people watch movies and enjoy drama and enjoy, you know, what are they called?
Exactly, Leroy.
Tragedy movies and stuff like that. I don't know if maybe you're going to enjoy it. I mean,
okay. Here's what I have to say. Yes, pretty much what Leroy is saying. I have seen so many people online, and I know a lot of it is like a lot of the bad reviews are being filtered out and shit, and they're just pretty much hiding it from people. But I've seen so much positivity around this game, and like, oh, it's such a great story, it's so beautifully written, and all this bullshit. Even the thing that really bothers me, everything bothers me about this.
Everything.
One of the things that really bothers me is the voice actors, specifically Troy Baker, Ashley Johnson, Joel, and Ellie.
Right.
They talk so much about how they love these characters, and they basically are like so attached to these characters, but then they're so supportive of what happens in this story. Like, they are just constantly online arguing with people about how this is so good and you just need to have an open mind, and like, how can you allow this to happen to your characters? How can you be on board with this?
So, first of all, I have to say, just for the record, that we got to the point where Abby runs into or stumbles upon Tommy and Joel.
Conveniently. Joel and Tommy just fall into her lap. They just
literally fall into her lap. And then Tommy, who has been running this bandit camp or hideout city, whatever.
They're not bandits. They're good people.
For 20 some odd years, okay, knows that Joel is a very wanted man by anybody who ever had anything to do with the Fireflies. And he just immediately introduces both of them to this strange girl.
Nerdy, have you seen
first
the actual
and last
scene?
Name?
Have you seen the actual scene played out in full?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that, first of all, I was like, probably not. I'm gonna go ahead and say probably not. Probably not gonna just tell you who I am, real full names right away.
Like the whole freaking conversation. Hey, yeah, we just live right down the hill, down that big ass city with all these supplies and resources and stuff. Why don't you guys come back with us and restock? We don't know who the fuck you are, but yeah. Come into our fucking town.
Yeah.
Take our shit.
Then,
by the way, I'm Tommy. This is Joel. He's killed some people.
Yeah. By the way, you might have heard of him. He's the smuggler that ran away with the only immune person on Earth. But aside from that, then, and this is what, to me, this is the quintessential error in their whole social justice bullshit. They're trying to teach us this lesson about how vengeance and violence is bad, okay?
But the game starts because of somebody's vengeance.
Which is bullshit. But let's just take that for what it is for a second. This is where they fucked themselves and us. Several times in this first encounter with Abby and Joel and Tommy, they save her fucking ass. Joel literally saves her life at least twice in this scene. And then as soon as she gets back to her fuckface friends, she doesn't hesitate for a second. She doesn't say, oh, wow, this guy might not be the monster I thought he was because he just saved my ass. My ugly, masculine, stupid ass. Okay? No, none of that. She's immediately like, I'm going to slowly and painfully torture you to death. But I'm supposed to believe that this person is good? I'm supposed to believe she's the right one in all of this? That Ellie is wrong?
No, you're not supposed to believe that right off the bat. You're supposed to see how much of a bad person she is, but continue playing the game so it can tell you how good she actually is.
Okay, so you know what? So she plays with a dog. Who the fuck cares?
The fucking...
Let me blow your mind for a second, Sarah. So, and I was watching another person give a review of the game, and they basically laid out the foundation of how this game could have worked. So would you have been as upset with this death scene of Joel? I mean, you've been upset because it's Joel. Would you have been as upset if they would have started the game as you as Ellie, striking out on your own? You went off on your own. You and Joel had a disconnect over or something. Maybe,
Well, they did have a disconnect.
Well, they have a bigger disconnect, and Ellie says she strikes out on her own. And then you meet Abby out there, and you're about to get your ass kicked, and Abby saves your life. And so for like a third of the game, you basically play the game with Ellie and Abby, like you did with Joel and Ellie.
Are you talking about Angry Joe's review?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I saw
exactly.
that.
He laid it out, and then you go and you get back to the place, and then Abby kills Joel.
But not in that way.
Right. But
Just
like maybe like
more
tearful.
humane.
Yeah, tearful. I'm so upset about this because you're Ellie's father figure, but you killed my father, so I have to, I seek vengeance.
Yeah, kind of like I'm sorry I have to do this, but I'm gonna do it. Like that's fine.
Would that have made the entire experience, and then the rest of the game you're playing as either Ellie or Abby running away? Would that have made the entire experience better?
Yeah, I mean anything is significantly better than how it went. But yes, if we had gotten to even if it wasn't Abby and Ellie as a duo, even if we started the game as Abby, not even if they had presented as like it's a different story, like if we didn't know that Ellie and Joel had anything to do with it, if we were just playing as Abby as this new character, we're not really sure what her mission is, but we get to know her, we become attached to her, and then near the end or halfway through or wherever it is, we find the twist where she's actually going after Joel. That's fine. That would have caused some inner conflict in us because we've spent all this time playing as this new character, getting to know her and all that, and then we find out, oh my god, she's like opposing our old characters.
As soon as she killed Joel, I no longer gave a shit.
Yeah.
Who she was, why she was there, what he did to piss her off, and then what's even worse is that Abby gets her revenge. She kills her ghost. And yet we're supposed to believe that Ellie is wrong for trying to get hers?
And also in the end, after killing everybody possible to get to Abby, Ellie decides, oh no, it's not worth it. Let her go.
Oh.
Yeah,
like that was a big thing a lot of people had, like, you already killed everybody else, at least give me the satisfaction of killing the bitch who killed Joel.
But you can't kill the bitch who killed Joel, because she's the good guy. Ellie's evil. Ellie's the villain.
And then
and yes, Abby was, like Leroy was saying, Abby was so like ready to sacrifice the pregnant woman on their team, and she was about to kill Dina, even knowing that she was pregnant. She was actually very eager to kill her until the kid stopped her.
And then you go into this whole. So Ellie says in the first game that her biggest fear is ending up alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what they do to her.
She could not have ended up more alone.
I don't remember, and maybe I just missed this part. What happened to Dina?
She left Ellie because Ellie went back after Abby. So after she goes and finds Abby and doesn't kill her, she comes home to find that Dina has left and taken the child. So all that's left there is Ellie's shit. And by the way, in that last fight, Abby bites off 2 of Ellie's fingers.
Straight through the bone.
So when Ellie goes to pick up a guitar, because it's the only thing she has left in the world, she can't even play the fucking guitar because she doesn't have 2 fingers. So then she just sets it down and walks out into the forest, and that's how it ends. She's walking alone into the forest to probably go hang herself from a tree, because what else do you do?
To fuck over a character that badly in like the...
It's just one game.
But in so much detail, down to the very last detail. Let's fuck her over as hard as possible this character that we built in the first game and made you fall in love with. And
how can you say that you love a character and do that to her?
To be fair, they fucked over characters in the past hardcore. I mean, need I bring up Kratos?
Kratos wasn't a good guy.
He was a good guy. He loved his family. Did this for his family. He's a great
Kratos
guy.
was a dick, man.
He was a soldier. That's all he was.
No, he got mad at... He went on this whole path of vengeance because he got mad that he was manipulated by Ares into killing his family. But he's the one who killed his own family. He did it. He's the one that was blinded by rage and fucking couldn't control himself.
I'm sorry, but let me tell you exactly how this played out. So we're starting to get our bearings.
Plus, nobody loves Kratos as much as Ellie and Joel.
I'm starting to really like
God of War. It was kind of pretty good. Sorry, I didn't mean.
I'm starting to really like Dina, and I see how she works really well for Ellie, and I love their cute little lesbian sex scene in the beginning. Like, I was so a fan. It was all like, I was like, this is great. I really like this person for Ellie. And then we figure out, okay, Abby's after Joel. And this is why we're going to hate her so much. And then we actually see how heartless she is and the way that she decides to kill him. And then they have to have fucking Ellie come in at the last minute like, oh, maybe she's going to intervene. Maybe she's going to be able to do something. Nope. She's just going to be restrained while she watches them finish off Joel. And Joel gets to see his last moments on Earth is he sees Ellie captured and probably assumes she's going to be killed next. And he dies feeling like he failed her. And then that was at the point when we almost stopped right there. I'm pretty sure.
Well, we paused.
We paused it. And we were like, okay. We were concerned that Ellie was going to die. And so I decided to go ahead and check before we pressed on. And I was able to confirm that Ellie didn't die without spoiling the ending.
But she might as well have fucking died.
I actually think I would have preferred that.
Yeah.
But so we were like, okay, we'll keep playing. Ellie doesn't die. And then what was the moment when we decided we had to find out how it ended?
It was after that. It was because as soon as Joel died, I paused it and I was like, okay, if this doesn't work out for Ellie, then I'm not going to continue this. So I have to know what happens to her. So that's when we looked it up and started reading about everything.
Yeah, oh, that's right. I kept reading while he continued to play a little bit. And then as I started to read more, I was like, I can tell you right now, you're not going to want to spend the 10 hours on this game that it's going to take to finish it because
10. They said the game
was like 20
plus hours.
Well, yeah, whatever. The point is that we were like, nope, this is not something that I'm not going to participate in this story.
So for anyone, I know no one here is going to, but if anyone happens to see this and wants to argue, let me make this clear. We're not just hating on the big events of the game. The writing as a whole is just horrible. This story is not well put together. The pacing is so bad. It is so manipulative, and it's so blatantly obvious how manipulative the storytelling is. You know, to have you in a cutscene, a forced cutscene, kill a dog as Ellie, and in the next scene, show Abby playing with that dog. It's so fucking stupid.
Completely manipulative.
It sounds like one of those shitty sales pitches that you see on late night commercials, where But wait, there's more.
Yeah.
So-
And it's just as fucked up and stupid.
Well,
as
my whole
before.
thing is they obviously didn't want to continue any storytelling with Ellie and Joel. That was the whole premise of this game. And they wanted to create a new character that fits their narrative. So obviously the next game, The Last of Us 3, is going to be about Abby and the character who escaped with her. I'm really not sure what the deal is with that.
Well, whatever the next game is going to be, it's going to fucking bomb.
I didn't
Whatever-
know that they were already working on another game.
They're not.
But I want to physically damage.
Rumor has that they are now. They've already started the storyboard action. For
Yeah, it's not official, but it's
So-
pretty much assumed.
Here's the thing.
The chat now.
I have an issue with the fact that the way the flashbacks, okay, they're really good. They're good. They're very true to Ellie and Joel's characters and their relationship. And what kills me is that they make you play, and then at the end of the game, because they're giving you these flashbacks in an effort to change your perspective on Ellie and Joel and to make you think in a different way about their actions and see the actions that they took in the first game as wrong or immoral or that they deserved what they got, okay? And the issue I have is that almost to the end of the game, you learn that Ellie has known the whole time the truth about what happened.
Yeah.
And that she had already forgiven Joel for that, or she was on her road to forgiving Joel.
Yep.
Until they got cut off by Abby.
And it's and then
that's
you
my
see,
thing.
and this was when I started crying in just watching the flashbacks, is when they finally show Ellie and Joel's argument that occurs the night prior to when the game starts. And it's about Ellie, still being upset with him about him kind of taking her purpose away. And Joel cries and says if he had it to do, I'm going to get emotional right now. If he had it to do all over again, he would make the same choice because he loves her that much. He doesn't give a shit about the human race. He loves her and thinks her life is valuable in and of itself. If that's not beautiful enough for you, if that's not a good enough story for you, then you're a garbage human being.
Well, that's the thing, because the first game was not, it was just a story about these two characters with two very unique situations who, meet, build a relationship. That's all it is. It's just a story of two characters and their relationship. There's no message, there's no moral to the story. But then in this game, they decide they want to send a message and build new characters. But they can't do that, by itself. They have to use these past characters that they built as basically a plot device to send their message. So they're sacrificing something they built just to send a message with these new characters and shit. The only reason why Ellie and Joel were used in this second game were for marketing. If they wanted to send this message and build these new characters, fine, do it in a brand new game, a standalone game. But no, they needed Ellie and Joel for the money.
See what they should have done, and I'm going to tell you right now, the game would have been completely fixed. Is if that scene where Ellie and Joel have their argument, Ellie says, "I have to leave. I can't look at you right now. I'm not ready to forgive you," and strikes out on her own, and that's where she meets Abby. And throughout their adventures with Abby, she gets the flashbacks of everything she did with Joel, because she's doing things with Abby and having the connection with Abby, and then realizes this is why he did what he did, takes Abby back to meet Joel and everybody, and then Abby kills Joel.
Yeah.
That would have been the connection we needed, because then you would have had that connection with Abby like you had with Ellie from The Last of Us 2 because they had been working together.
Yeah.
And then you would have had Abby kill Joel because now you realize that she's actually on this mission to kill the person that killed her father. And then you have the rest of the game, the last part of the game, Ellie and Abby, whether you're playing as Ellie going after Abby or you're playing Abby running away from Ellie, which I think would have been cool to play as Abby at that point. Play as Abby to run away from Ellie because
self-preservation.
Yeah, like that would have been.
I agree with you.
Way to do it. That would have been such a better way of writing the story and a better way to connect with the characters. But in this way, within the first 2 hours of the game, you hate the character that you're forced to play as for half the game.
I mean, like by that point, when by the time she kills Joel, I don't care what Abby did. She could have found the cure for cancer, saved all the homeless people, fucking was the Jesus Christ reincarnate, and I still would have wanted to see her drawn and quartered. Okay? Like, there was nothing that was going to happen after that point for me that was going to redeem Abby in my eyes.
Yeah, and that's just bad storytelling. You can't introduce a character as being shit and then try to manipulate us as hard as possible into believing that she's good. You can't do it that way.
Right. Like that's what they should have gotten you to like Abby in the beginning and then faced you with this betrayal moment. That would have worked.
And that is a good point, Leroy. Like a 5-year grudge like that. And because my other point was like her revenge and the way that she acted it out was so excessive compared to what actually happened to her dad.
Yep.
Her dad was not targeted or tortured.
Technically, her dad put himself in the way.
Her dad was collateral damage.
Her dad, if he would have just walked,
he got in the way
and walked back, he
yeah,
wouldn't have gotten killed to begin with.
And let's talk just for a second, Abby, about the fact that your dad was about to sacrifice a 14-year-old girl for a fucking crapshoot maybe vaccine that you weren't even sure would work.
Hey, here's a question. This isn't so much a criticism. I actually am curious because I don't know about medical stuff. When you're trying to create a vaccine or whatever, and you need to extract the tissue or whatever,
antibodies,
extract whatever you need to extract out of the host or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Are the surgeon and the person who makes the vaccine usually the same person?
I suppose they could. I mean, not generally, because here's my thing with the whole back to Last of Us 1. To me, it didn't make sense that they were just going to kill her to extract tissue.
Yeah, that was
like
the whole...
You could extract tissue without killing a person. Even if it's brain tissue, you could still extract tissue without killing.
Well, yes, because that was the whole... That's another thing about the whole thing with The Last of Us 1. Throughout the game, they are constantly giving us subtle hints as to how incompetent the Fireflies actually are and how they just suck at everything they do, and they are actually not the saviors of the world.
Yeah.
And that was one of them, because like, what kind of fucking expert scientist finds a possible cure or vaccine to this disease and his first choice is, hey, let's kill the host?
And you find out, and I'm pretty sure Leroy just said it, you find out throughout all the letters and the recordings that you find at all these labs they've had to abandon because they suck, that there's been 12 other humans with immunity that they killed.
That's not true.
It's not?
No. It's not. It's never explicitly stated. That's just a theory.
But they talk about, I thought that what's her nuts? The female that gave Ellie to us in the first place.
Marlene
Marlene talked about the previous people with immunity.
No, the only thing she mentioned was like, you know, in her audio recording, she was like, you know, after all those sacrifices and all those people that have died for this cause, blah, blah, blah. But she never actually said those people that died were immune or that they were experimented on.
Oh.
It was just
that was the other thing. They're experimenting on a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah.
It's like Nazi bullshit right there.
Yeah.
That's why I never really liked the ending of the... Well, no, I'm sorry. That's why I really liked the ending of Last of Us 2, but I didn't like how they portrayed it as, at the end, that Joel was actually this villain person taking away humanity. So, like...
Yeah, so in Last of Us 2, they tried to turn all that around and actually make us believe that, oh, the Fireflies actually were good people, and they actually were going to save the world with this fucking vaccine. And
no, and then you have this issue about how they say that, you know, Joel killed all these people. Joel and Ellie both killed all these people in the first game, and somehow I'm supposed to, in the second game, realize how wrong that was. Okay, despite the fact that that's like
killing all the people,
the premise of the fucking game.
There's a fucking scene in Ellie's chase for Abby where she meets one of Abby's friends and ends up killing her because she doesn't give her the information she wants. And the shot goes into a close-up of Ellie bathed in this red light as she's beating this girl to death. Like, how much more obvious could it be that you're trying to make her look evil? This girl just fucking insulted her and Joel, and you're gonna say that killing her was unjustified?
So now you're gonna tell me that the fucking cannibal that tried to sexually assault Ellie, that he should have been, given a fucking jury trial during the zombie apocalypse?
Nope, killed him.
Kill him.
Well,
okay, so what exactly am I supposed to feel guilty about?
Hold on, Leroy. I don't need to play the game to understand the story, because you know what?
No, I think
it's the same damn story. And how many fucking times you play it?
I think he's being sarcastic.
I think that was
that's total,
facetious, Leroy.
Total sarcasm.
Because he called you a bigot sandwich.
Bigot sandwich. Yeah, what the hell is the deal with the bigot sandwich? Why would they?
So Ellie so apparently the guy that in the beginning, the scene we don't actually get to see, but you learn about it through story.
We do. It's in a flashback. It just wasn't part of the compilation.
Yeah. So when Dina and Ellie kiss, this older gentleman says some kind of
which by the way, can I point out? I personally, before we continue, I just want to put this out. I personally, through all the bad things in this game, and this is a lot covering me, even though I felt that it was interjected, I had absolutely no problem with Ellie being gay or bisexual or whatever she was.
Until it became a topic.
Abby being gay or bisexual or whatever it was. I had no problem with any of that.
I didn't either, and I actually really liked the way that they played Ellie and Dina's relationship.
Yeah, Ellie and Dina's relationship was beautiful. I liked it.
Until it became a topic of the story.
Well, but the problem is what they SJW'd it up is when this older gentleman sees them kiss and says, and they don't tell us what he says.
He says like, hey, there's families here, just basically don't
something he said something homophobic.
And then they said they talked back and walked away, and then he's like, great, just what we need, another big mouth dyke or something like that.
Yeah. So he says something, he's an asshole. And then we see the next day that he apologizes to Ellie, says, I was drunk, I shouldn't have said that. And as my way of apology, and I think it was Soul Creek that brought this up when we did our little call, he gives Ellie a steak sandwich, which in this time is like, they don't have steak just in stockpiles, right? And that's his
it's a big deal to get
that was his peace offering. Is like, look, I'm owning it. I fucked up. And Ellie blows off the apology and hands the steak sandwich off to
Jesse
and says, he goes, "What are those?" And she says, "Bigot sandwiches." And that's where the bigot sandwich reference comes from. But
I mean, that's kind of funny. It's stupid.
It's funny, but
it is funny. Yeah. But to me, that's where they're interjecting something that didn't need to be there in relation to.
Why couldn't they just been like, okay, cool. This is how people should react. Like,
right.
Hey, you know what? He apologized. He saw the error of his way. Let me accept his apology. No, and all you chalk people now is always hold something against somebody for their entire life for one thing they may have said, even if they may have said it in an inebriated state. Like, that's such a dumb message to share.
Especially if it's a bigoted comment. Bigots are never forgiven.
Oh, whatever.
And it very easily could have been played off as, thanks for apologizing, but I'm still not fucking happy with you. They didn't have to take it as far as they did.
They could have even been like, you know what? Thank you for the apology, I understand, but you have a lot of learning to do, or something along those lines.
Yeah, there's just so many better ways, like...
Because all that does is that plays into the atmosphere that we have now in the U.S., where if you've ever said anything wrong, or you've ever done anything that could possibly be construed as racist, then obviously you don't deserve your job, you don't deserve to be successful, and you should always be punished for that one thing you did.
Well, that's the whole mentality around this game as a whole.
Somebody did.
It's I'm offended culture.
It's the whole mentality around this game is if you hate it, you're a bigot. And it's like, I feel like I feel like a lot of people who love the game actually only love it because they want to be like woke or whatever.
Fun fact, all the reviews that are coming onto The Last of Us 2, sources have pointed out that 47% of the positive ones are fake.
That makes sense.
47%. That's a huge number of bot reviewers, basically, or people paid to review the game, are fake. That's a huge percentage. Like, and let's just even pass the story in The Last of Us 2. Or, what the gameplay, was it any different or innovative from The Last of Us 1?
It wasn't that different, but it still worked fine as a game. Like, if we're reviewing this as a game, it was a solid game. It looked beautiful.
As a sequel. And because I'm kind of on the side with Angry Joe on this one, as a sequel, they should have pushed the envelope, made it better, done something to innovate the game. They didn't do anything. It was the exact same gameplay with a shit ton of filler.
It wasn't needed. They basically reused, the gameplay of the old game just to tell their story and send their message and all this bullshit. It wasn't needed.
And the problem I have is that we talked a lot about The Last of Us and how unique it was that they came along and they showed the world that a video game, and this is, I wish Soul Creek was here because he spoke really eloquently about this, about how, at the end of the day, for all intensive purposes, a video game is still a product that is intended to be sold and consumed, right? And so for years, that has been a limitation of the medium, right? Is that it still has to be a marketable, consumable product. And one of the things that made The Last of Us unique and different was that they came along and showed us that it can also be art and still be a product that's consumable. And I'm not saying it's the only game that's ever done that. I'm just saying that is one of the things that I loved so much about it, is that there was art in the fact that these characters weren't perfect. They were gritty. They made mistakes. They were rough around the edges, but there was beauty in their relationship and the love, and they had no one, and they overcame so much personal pain that if there was a message there, it was one that was different for each person that experienced it. Maybe it's okay that I'm not perfect. I can still be loved. Maybe it's okay that I've made mistakes, but I can still find a light in the world and I don't have to be alone, right? And then this message that they shoved down our throats and bastardized the entire story, character, and world to do so, there's no beauty in that. I feel scolded. I feel judged. I feel like, I've had my knuckles slapped with a ruler. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no
soul.
Yeah, I think that's what that's what hurts my feelings about it, is that the writers, this new direction that they took, clearly did not understand the depth that was there in that first story. Because in the flashbacks, the depth is there. That balance between survival and quality of life and having something to live for.
Oh, your video is flashed.
I lost you for a second. I don't know what happened.
And
almost like, the people who wrote those flashbacks actually knew the people they were writing about, knew the story that they were writing about.
And that was what brought, we talked about this a little bit, and how most of the original staff quit in like March. And I talked about, we are players consuming the game, and we are so like devastated by this. I can't imagine how I would feel if I was on the team, the original writing team, and I'd poured my heart and my talent and my time into these characters, and then I have no control over this horrible thing that's happening to these characters that I've worked so hard to build. And they had to just sit by and watch, and there's nothing they could do. Like, that's a travesty.
Yeah, I'm disagreeing with that. Like, the game is a mess. Like, and if you look at great games in history, like great games that stand out, that will stand the test of time. The Last of Us, the first one. The Witcher 3, God of War, especially the reboot. All of these games weren't great because they were, these industry-setting standards of video gaming, gameplay, graphics, and everything. A lot of them were to some degree, but you were able to connect to the characters, and everybody had a different connection to those characters. Where The Last of Us 2 failed in every way, shape, and form is the fact that they took the characters that you connected to, treated them like a second thought, and then tried to make the characters that they wanted you to connect to unrelatable. Like 100% unrelatable. You can't relate to a person just killed to many people, who has become kind of like a father figure. I mean, I wonder how many people saw Joel as what they wished their father would have been.
Well, I don't know if you heard about that one Korean player who quit the game as soon as Joel died because it just hit him so hard because he just recently lost his dad.
Yeah.
He like snapped the disc on stream or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's my point. You made the character that you want. So it doesn't matter how well you write that character. It doesn't matter how manipulative you are with trying to make people like that character. The reality of it is that one event has villainized that character forever. There is nothing you will ever be able to do to make that character relatable. Even if they do a Last of Us 3, if they want that game to go down in the ages like the other ones I just previously stated, what they're going to have to do is take Abby out of it. It'll have to be Abby's daughter. Have to be Abby's that kid that she's taking.
No, they can't, because Abby and Lev, that new kid, are the new Joel and Ellie. That's basically what they're trying to do.
They won't work. It won't work because every single person will see that and go, I can't do this character. How am I supposed to relate to this character? Not only are they going to see that, but what's going to happen then in like Last of Us 4? Are they going to kill this character off too after I love them and everything? What's going to happen? It's just,
no, you know how you relate to her because she loves dogs.
Oh, whatever.
And she's probably mostly a man,
and
so there's that.
And from what you see in the flashbacks, her dad is a really nice guy. Like, he is so nice compared to Joel. He is the opposite of Joel.
He was just gonna kill a 14-year-old girl. Yeah. No big deal.
You know who else were really nice people? I'm sure they were really, really nice people. Were the people who led the Jews to the gas chambers. And I'm sure they were really great neighbors, and they're wonderful to their families. But they just gassed a bunch of Jews.
So like,
they're just doing their jobs. No big deal.
Yeah.
Like all types of writing is obviously about manipulation, right? You're trying to manipulate people's emotions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about the first game is, when the writing's good, you don't notice or you don't care that you're being manipulated.
Yeah.
You're not seeing Joel and Ellie and thinking, man, they wrote these characters so well. They really made me like them. You're thinking of Joel and Ellie as real people.
Yep.
You believe. You don't believe, but you're able to view them as real people.
It's immersive.
And connect with them. And yeah, it's immersion. But when the writing's bad, like in part 2, you're not thinking, oh man, Ellie's actually turning into a villain, or Abby is actually kind of a good person. You're thinking, man, the writers are trying really hard to make me believe that Abby is a good person and that Ellie is a villain. I don't know.
They should have automatically planned on making a third one and then having this story be playing this new character and finding out throughout it why she doesn't like Joel.
Yeah.
The flashbacks could be an incident that she had with him that, something similar along those lines. So you actually build a connection to her. And then in the third one, they can figure out which one you're going to play and who's going to try to kill who.
Yeah, I mean, anything, like I said, anything story-wise would have been better than what they did. They shat on characters that people loved. They interjected and tried to force you to love characters for a reason that they chose were the right way. And they then didn't even give you the satisfaction of getting, that vengeance, that revenge that a lot of people felt that they needed to get closure. So,
see, that's the thing that people are trying to argue for. It's like, oh, it's such a good message because she gave up on her vengeance and, whatever. Like, all people see, the people who view this game positively, all they are seeing is the overall message that is trying to be sent. And that, if you want to argue that the message was good and whatever, if you want to argue that the overall direction of the game was good, fine. I mean, I'm not going to agree with you, but you can argue that. But if you want to, I want someone to intelligently argue that the way everything was executed was good. I need someone to argue that the actual writing of everything that played out was good.
So here's the thing. I have an issue with their message because there's a huge fucking flaw, a giant pimple in the middle of their stupid message. And that is that in the first 2 hours of the game, Abby gets her fucking revenge.
Yeah, but that's a detail you don't need to worry about. Because that's what no one cares about details.
And yet somehow she's better than Ellie? I'm sorry, but that's...
Because she likes dogs.
That is... You just completely contradicted yourself. And not only does she get her revenge, she fucking does it in the most inhumane way. Like, how? What's the message again? I'm confused because
Yeah, I mean, if dropping your whole going for revenge thing is what people are saying is, the great message, then they shouldn't have tried to make what's her face the good guy. It should have been how she got her revenge, and it didn't fucking change anything. It didn't make her feel better. It didn't make anything better for her.
See, that I would.
Then it would make sense.
I could buy into that.
That's another thing about Abby's character versus Ellie's is that throughout the whole game, Abby never feels bad for anything she does, but Ellie does. Ellie, finds out that one of the girls she killed was pregnant, and she gets physically sick and is traumatized. But Abby, no regrets. Nope.
See, once again, the game could have been saved just by a simple change in the writing. It's like I said, say we started off with Abby and Ellie together. Say the Joel thing happens and she kills her and she feels awful about it. And say we don't change the ending. Say Ellie doesn't kill Abby. But because the reason why she doesn't kill
because they have a connection.
But yeah, because as she's holding Abby's head on the water, she thinks of her father. And the whole time she's thinking of her father, she thinks of the picture that maybe Abby showed her of her father. And she's thinking of how she lost her father, too, because of this whole cycle. And now they're both fatherless daughters, and they're doing this revenge story on each other.
Yeah.
And then she stops.
See, I never had an issue.
How to do it.
I never had an issue with the story not ending with Ellie killing Abby. Like, that's fine. If that's how you want to play it, and Ellie realizes in the end, like, this is a vicious cycle that's never going to end and I'm going to stop it, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, but it rung hollow.
Yeah, because...
But it was hollow because Abby was a stupid fucking cunt from the word go.
Mm-hmm.
I said the word again.
It was also hollow in the fact that, like you were saying, Nerdy, like, Ellie had no connection to Abby. She had no reason to let her go. She didn't know about her dad. The story ended with Ellie still not knowing why Abby did what she did.
Yep.
Like,
and that's the big, huge, like,
they
if they would have had that
major
connection,
flaws in their storytelling.
Yeah, if they would have had that connection and maybe had a really touching scene of Ellie and Abby sitting around a campfire and telling, maybe not even, Abby telling her that it was Joel that killed her father. Maybe just like, my father was killed and gunned down, and I've been hunting down the guy, and blah blah blah. And then, maybe have, Ellie, like, that's awful. I really didn't have any family, but I had this person who took me in as a father. But, this, should have happened, and it didn't. And he made what I think is the wrong decision, but I'm starting to forgive him. Like, something there to create that chemistry that there wasn't. It just, you had no reason, like you said, no connection to Abby, no reason to love her. And to have basically this character that has already been villainized, that you're forced to play as, and you finally get a moment to finally kill the bitch and get done with her, you let her go. Without having any motive to do so.
Their storytelling is very much like a toddler trying to tell you a story, where they miss all the key points that actually bring it all together.
Yeah, see, and this is what I was saying, because when we first... in our first reaction when on the stream, this is worse than anything David Cage has ever done.
Yep.
And that is saying a lot. Neil Druckmann has taken the throne of probably the worst writer ever, or director.
I think what you said was, at least David Cage...
At least he's oblivious.
But he is who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't pretend to be anything other than what he is. You know what you're getting.
When you play a David Cage game.
When you open a David Cage game, you can play David Cage bingo. Like,
that's why there are bingo cards, because you know what to expect.
You know what to expect, and he doesn't try to pretend to be anything else. He doesn't market it as something other than what it is. And I feel like in this game, they dangled in front of us what we loved about the first game and all the trailers and all the marketing.
The Ellie edition.
And then they gave us a steaming platter of poop.
we're going to sell you guys something called the Ellie edition. But what you don't know is that Ellie is actually the villain.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And you know what? And you know, you're going to continue to get these steaming platters of poop and pay more for them, to segue into our next conversation, because I think we're starting to beat a dead horse.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The thing is, what's going to happen is I'm going to have to, number one, as far as I'm concerned, other than the specific flashback scenes we watched, the rest of The Last of Us 2 doesn't exist.
Well, here's what I think, and before we segue into this conversation,
oh my God, Leroy, it's too soon. It's too soon.
No, too soon. But my whole thing is I feel bad for someone like you, Tara. I feel something, and let me explain before you're like, what do you mean by like people, someone like me? But you know, like,
She's
what do you mean, you people?
Yeah,
she's a girl.
Somebody who got into video gaming relatively recently, who fell in love with a character, who sees other people who've enjoyed video gaming, and tells you about their journey with these other great characters like Nathan Drake or Lara Croft or
Dante.
Kratos or Dante. Tells you about all these wonderfully amazing stories and these connections you had with them, and then you finally get your sequel, and they go,
yeah.
For a person who is supposed to be getting more into gaming, that's like, well, why the fuck would I want to do this hobby? I mean, honestly, I feel bad.
Stomped all over my heart.
Yeah.
Well, and so what I'm going to be doing is what I like to call the Voldemort approach. This will be the game that shall not be named. I'm just going to refuse to acknowledge it from this point forward. I was looking forward to this so I could put my opinions out there, make it very clear to the world how I feel about this, and then I'm going to lock it away in a box because it's too painful.
I feel like I recently had a game like installed on my PS4, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
and it's just gone.
It's just disappeared.
I don't know what happened to
what?
it.
AAD, I think what you should do is...
If you name the game, Neil Cuckman will appear behind you.
Oh, no. That's awful.
So I can punch him right in the...
You have to say it 3 times, and he shows up like Candyman. No, what I think you should do, AD, though, is to renew Tara's faith in humanity as far as in video games. Because she loved The Last of Us 1 so much with Joel...
He still has The Walking Dead.
I do still have The Walking Dead.
Have her play the God of War remake. Or the God of reboot. The new God of War.
Well, it's not a reboot. It's a continuation.
Well, it is a continuation, but it was a soft reboot.
Yeah.
Have her play that, because the experience between Kratos and... I can't remember the son's name now, but...
the other guy.
The child.
Starts with an A. Atreus.
That relationship and how it evolved, I think, is very similar to the relationship that Joel and Ellie had.
Well, for one...
yes, I do, Leroy.
For one, Tara can't play God of War.
Yet.
Ability-wise. 2, Soul Creek has mentioned this, or suggested this to her, but she definitely needs to not play the first 3, but at least get caught up on the story of actually who Kratos is and why Kratos is. So.
Well, first of all, I actually have started to work more like on my own. I am trying to get better so I can continue to experience more games.
She is experiencing Persona though, and I think it'll end up really good for her.
I love Persona. So honestly, and I think to your point, I think it's a good point, and it's hard, but it actually has kind of. I feel like this showed me the best it could be and the worst it could be, and it makes me want to double down on finding those that do it right and do justice to that relationship, or that you feel like these characters are family or you connect with them.
You should play the Uncharted stuff too. Nathan Drake's a beautifully well written character.
So yeah, I'm gonna continue my work at getting good.
The first game that she actually ever played on stream was Tomb Raider, and I have been.
Oh my god, I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
The new ones or the Tomb Raider with like
No, the new
triple
ones.
pistols? Okay.
It was so bad.
The first of the new ones, and I have been wanting to kind of have her finish that. I've never actually finished that
I would
game,
be so much better now. It's been like 2 years.
I don't know a whole bunch about the new Tomb Raiders, the new Lara Croft, but I understand that that she's really well written also.
Yeah,
as a character.
I would like to see it for
Well, your
myself
sister
too.
played it, and she loved it
Did she? The new one?
from a couple years ago.
Okay.
But I think that is a good point, though, that now Tara has kind of already so early in her gaming life been able to see the best and the worst. So now she's seen both extremes. So
I mean, I almost want to start like making a list of games that Tara needs to play, just so she can see how many times developers have gotten characters right.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many instances where they got it right, and then I want to make another list and go, and Tara, these are the instances they did it so wrong.
Well, it makes
So
you appreciate
you play a good one, and then
the
you play
good
a
ones
bad one,
more.
and you play a good one, and you play a bad.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I've already introduced her to some of the worst with the David Cage games.
yes.
But of course, now Neil Druckmann has surpassed that.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
We have a new low. I think we're in the negatives now.
Yeah,
We're
I
in the
mean,
negatives.
I don't know if anybody could do it much worse or get our pipes up much further. Go take care of that. So I don't know.
So yeah, I am working more on I do love Persona. I definitely like I want to play all the Personas, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do.
It's not
because
possible.
The technology's like
You can play 4.
Ancient.
Wanting to play all the Personas is like wanting to play all of the Kingdom Hearts.
Or all the Final Fantasies.
No, all the Final Fantasies is doable.
I guess, yeah. There's
Because each Final Fantasy is different.
well, each Persona is different.
Were you able to pop it back?
I'm just talking about like
Turn off the AC?
more so availability than anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Alright, so I think we've beaten The Last of Us 2 dead horse enough. Let's segue into my new topic about how game prices are going up and character quality is going down. So, did you guys hear about that? How
Character
now-
quality? What do you mean?
So,
You said game price is going up and character quality is going down?
yeah, we got The Last of Us 2, and now 2K wants you to pay $70. You saw this because we talked about it in Discord a little bit. They want you to pay $70 for their crap version of NBA 21.
Seriously?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, my biggest problem with this is not so much the price increase. It's the people who are trying to set this standard in 2K in a sports game where there's always hundreds of microtransactions and all this extra shit that you have to pay for. A game like that should not be the one to set this standard for a price increase.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said in Discord, if I would feel more okay with it if it was something like Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is, and it's like you and I said, people are losing their minds. Why are $60 or $70 too much? Let's take a trip back to the 90s. How much did you pay for a video game back in the 90s? Anybody remember?
Nintendo games were like $50, $60, which would be like $80 now.
Yep. So if you take into account inflation, increased costs to make games, and that cost is going to go up even more because the industry is trying to change the standard of people being crunched. It's going to take even longer and more time, which means it's going to cost more. You have to give some leeway. Game prices are going to have to go up. There's no way around it.
The price has stayed pretty steady for a long time.
They've been steady. They've been $60 for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
For the last 2 generations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been $60.
It's impressive that games are already not significantly more.
Yeah. I mean, and here's my thing, and I know people get pissed off when I say this. I know it. And as a gamer myself, it kind of hurts me to say it a little bit too, because I want everybody to be included into gaming. But video games are still a luxury item. Let's be clear. You don't need them to live. You can't eat a video game. You can't, sleep under a video game. I guess you could if you had enough of the discs, but you get my point. They're a luxury item. And you're going to have to pay luxury item prices for.
Yeah, I don't I agree with that, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Art that you hang on the wall that you can't even do anything with is a luxury item, and it's expensive, right? Mm-hmm. But if you are able, and that's something you're passionate about, you will choose to spend your money on it. However, people who are passionate about art but don't have the money for it don't get to have art. So,
well, and it's not to say that people who are passionate about art who don't have the money for the big name art, you can't get a Picasso, but you can go down the street and find John who draws beautifully or paints beautifully, and pay him $20 and he can paint something for you and you have something beautiful on your wall.
That's valid.
My point is okay, so game prices go up. It does not mean that you can't video game. Go to the indie developers. All of these developers started somewhere. You could find there are hundreds, if not thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of indie developers out there.
It is one of the downfalls
who make great games.
Well,
GameStop not doing so well.
Yeah.
Knowing that GameStop is going to end up closing.
So I was just about to say that, Nerdy Wife. So you guys remember I was on a hunt for a PS4, and it was like as soon as I decided to buy one, they weren't in stock anywhere. Mm-hmm. And we
just like the Switch.
And we decided to just stop. We were in the shopping center and there was a GameStop over there. And we decided to just walk in because we had to pass by it anyway and just see. And they happened to have a PS4 in stock, which I bought. Mm-hmm. And while I was in there, I decided to browse the games just because I'm not a frequenter of GameStop. The only thing I know about it is from my brother, and I just know they don't pay you very much for your games because of all the memes, right? So, but I looked at the wall, and there were some games that, are they the new and hot games? No. But I'm new to this. They're games that I've not played that are older, and now the pre-owned ones are like $10. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, if you really want to, you can go do that. And then there were some games on clearance at Best Buy that, for example, I got the Persona 5. I saw it there and it was on sale for $10 or $20. It's not the new Royale version, but I decided to go ahead and get it. Then I own it. Then I can go back and play it later and see the differences, whatever. But there's ways to do it. You can buy shit secondhand. You can,
Well, and the problem is, and here's where big game industry, and where probably me and Leroy are going to see very eye to eye on. This is where big gaming is trying to fuck over the consumer, is by pushing this narrative of, hey, digital is better. We're all going to do digital.
Yep.
To the point, then you don't have.
There won't be secondhand games because nobody buys the games anymore. Yeah.
And if you look at especially big game companies like EA and Ubisoft, if you look at them, their game's $60 at the point of coming out, and it's still $60 5 years later. You might be lucky to catch something on the Steam Summer Sale or something, but the reality of it is, then they control the pricing.
That's already happened to me, actually. So when I decided to, this was before AD moved his stuff in here, and I could have saved myself $60, but I decided I wanted to replay Bayonetta at home, and all I had was the Switch. And I went and paid, I'm pretty sure I paid $50 for the original Bayonetta, which is an old ass game, but it was available for digital download.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I paid probably what the same price it was when it first came out. When I'm pretty sure when you bought Bayonetta, you bought the disc.
Well, I bought
used.
the PS3 version for $10, but that's because part of it is because you bought the Switch version, which was technically a new release.
Okay, that's fair.
Because
it wasn't on the Switch originally. Yeah. But still, I get your point. It's like, do I like being able to buy a game and download it and instantly play it and I don't have to wait for something to come in the mail? Yes. But I do see why that's problematic long term.
I'm still old school when it comes to buying physical games.
Yeah, but they're getting harder and harder to do.
Yeah.
Like especially, and I'm gonna show my age. I'm gonna show my age here. I remember when I would go back in the day, I would go to fucking Walmart and they'd have a whole aisle full of computer games.
Yeah.
Like you actually go get computer games in boxes. Like you got like the Diablo 2 Battle Chest Edition or the StarCraft Battle Chest Edition.
And the box was like this big, even though the game disc was like this.
Yeah, and they usually came like, some books or something in there too. You don't have that anymore. If you want to play a PC game, it's digital. Very few games out there. Like I think I go to Walmart yourself and I might see something, physical copy. But even then, it's usually like a physical copy of World of Warcraft where you have to do digital shit anyway. So
that
yeah,
or it's a seriously old game. Like it's still on the shelf because they need to get rid of it.
That reminds me of those old. Do you remember those old AOL CDs that you would get in the mail?
yes, I remember the AOL CDs.
That was the first internet that there was at my house.
Yep,
AOL.
we had CompuServe actually it was our first dial-up internet, and it came on a disc.
See, when it comes to PC games, because it's probably because I'm new to PC gaming, but I actually do everything digital there. I never actually went out and bought any disc or anything, but like for consoles, I still like having the disc. I guess it's because of it's kind of like a collector's item for me, just to have like the box art and just having the physical copy.
I'm just waiting for you to say something like when hipsters talk about albums, it's just the sound. The sound is just different on an LP.
I mean, I don't have a record player behind
I think that's what Leroy was. I think that's what Leroy was getting at when he's just said physical music records are coming back.
They're popular again, which I'm not. I
go to Walmart and buy records.
I'm all for nostalgia. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't think DVDs or CDs or writable disc or whatever they use now for video games, if they use CDs at all, that's ever going to become a nostalgic item. I just don't think that's going to be something like...
CDs are in a museum.
Okay, well, here's the thing, though. Did you ever think that Nintendo 64 game cartridges would become nostalgic? Because they have. That's like...
The problem is though, and this is... CDs are notoriously easily damaged. And the half-life of a CD in general is bad. Like, I know, for example, like the ink on rewritable discs, it goes bad after a couple of years. I think after like 10 or 15, the ink that they wrote, because they press I don't know exactly how the industry is, but they press it on there. I think that could go bad over time too. I've had CDs get fucked up because I played them too much and stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I have worn out a few CDs, especially in my teenage years, where I had to literally go rebuy a CD because I had played the first one literally to death.
Yeah, Yeah, and the same thing can happen to video games for consoles and stuff like that. Whereas you've got a Nintendo cartridge from like 1987,
You blow on that bitch. And
you
stick it
blow in
back
that bitch, and it's still gonna fucking work in that damn thing. In 2027. It's not a whole lot that's gonna change on the cartridge.
Copy of Dark Souls is 9 years old and still works.
But I don't get the whole idea. Everybody's getting pissed off for the game prices rising. Like, we've been at the same price for so long. I don't like how the big game companies are trying to make everything digital only, because it gets rid of that ability to go secondhand and stuff like that. But I also point out, like, hey, look, if you don't like the big game companies, the AAA studios not giving you the price that you want, go to indie developers.
Well, yeah, like, the thing is, like, most people who are complaining because they can't usually afford these prices of games, you probably, if you haven't been able to afford those types of games throughout your life, you probably missed out on a lot of the old games. So why not go back and buy some old games for cheap?
Yeah.
Like, the thing that people are mad about is that they just can't keep up with all this new shit, which is understandable, but at the same time, there's a lot of old stuff that you've missed out on.
Even if it is all affordable, there's not enough time to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's irrelevant. You still don't have the time to actually play everything.
Yeah.
And it also comes down to the fact that we're at a point in the industry where everything looks so amazing that if you go back 10 years, things still look amazing. They still look good. So it's not like you're going back, 10 years and you're playing Pong. You're still playing good games.
Yeah.
You're still playing, Skyrim's how old? I mean, Skyrim's like 13 years old, isn't it?
Skyrim? No, I think it was like 2011.
They see a single pixel. They're like, oh, it's shit.
Who, me?
People in general.
Oh. Well, I mean,
Skyrim is at most 9 years. Yeah, 9 years. That's what Leroy says.
Okay, so, but still, Skyrim's a decade old, just about.
Yeah.
And it's still a very highly played game. It's enjoyable. There's no reason why you can't go back and play that game versus having to get the newest, Cyberpunk. Hell, The Witcher 3 is 7 years old, and it's still a highly playable game. There are so many options out there. There's no reason to try to keep up with stuff.
Last of Us 1 is 7 years old.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely love to pinch pennies, and I would love to. I mean, fucking, you used to be able to go buy a brand new car for $500, and the thing was like indestructible because it was made of like death metal, right? But like, that's just not how shit works. Cars are not still $500, and that's life. So it's like, do you sit here and whine about the way the world is, or do you choose to adapt and operate within that world to the best of your ability?
I mean, I will still bitch at the prices.
Well, sure.
Because they are insane.
Of course.
The fact that I can't get a truck that doesn't cost as much as my mortgage is a problem.
But there's a difference, I think, in bitching and whining. In bitching, you're blowing off steam. While
still dealing with the situation.
Yeah. But whining...
Now let me go buy it.
...is like, I want somebody to fix it.
Wait, do you have to talk in that voice?
Yeah. That's how I hear when I read people whining on the internet. That's the voice that I read it in. The saying.
I mean,
you must be a bigot because you don't like The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Oh God, we've made full circle.
Have a bigot sandwich.
It's not just a game.
Abort.
It's a message.
It's about perfecting your craft.
Oh my God.
It's about competitive nature, bro.
Oh my God, are we there now? Oh no. If you're not pissed off that you lost.
You lost twice.
You lost.
Oh God. I don't know. Like,
more than just a game.
I don't know. Well, here's my question then. What in AD, like say they did the price hike for Cyberpunk. and this is going to be where things are going, price wise. What do you think would be an appropriate price for a game like Cyberpunk in today's financial market?
Well, why
Do you
not?
think,
Why
do you
not
think
just
$70?
Yeah, 70 is fine.
$90?
No.
$100?
No, 70.
Like, what would be the inflation rate for a game from?
I don't think you could justify more. It would maybe not impossible, but it would be really hard to justify more than a 10% or $10 increase. So if Cyberpunk was the first to come out with this $70 standard, I would be fine with it. But if it was 80, I would have some issues.
So what you're saying is you would pay $70 for the base game, but if you got 80 or 90 for like a special edition with all the
you paid more than that for special editions now.
Well, I mean, but yeah, but I'm not for special edition, but like you get the DLC pass, the season pass with it, you'd be okay with it then. $90 for a season pass one.
Yeah, like if the base game was 70 and then extra content or whatever was another 20 or whatever, I guess
that would justify the increase.
Well, for the 90, yeah.
For the 90,
that's basically what they
do. But
do
you can't
now.
just come out and say, "Oh, by the way, they're $80-$90 now." You're like, the fuck? That's not.
Well, my whole thing is
because you still have to market it in a way that's like, well, it's only an extra $10. It's really not that bad.
Do we have prices for the consoles coming out this season yet?
Nothing official, but wait, no. The PlayStation.
I thought PlayStation did.
Yeah, they did.
Give us a price?
I think it was $6.
Was it official or is it just some dude who says, "Oh, they leaked the price here"?
No, I'm pretty sure on that.
It's official.
I'm pretty sure on that event that we saw, it said the disc version was like, I don't know if it was 500 or 600, but the digital version was $100 less than the physical version.
If you cannot pay me $10 for watching my content, then go away.
And that's another way they're trying to buy out the industry right there. Hey, let me make the digital edition of this much cheaper. So then you can only get digital games.
Yeah.
Okay, type.
Sorry, I wanted prices. So yeah, they're 500 and 400 for the digital.
Oh, 500 and 400. Okay,
yeah,
I thought it was like 600.
The price point will be one of the major factors about electricians. The PlayStation 5 is expected to release at 500. So I don't think we have actual pricing yet.
I thought we saw the numbers on the PlayStation event.
I don't think they actually, because I typed in, PlayStation 5 pricing, and it's the first thing that pops up is the expected pricing. Nobody actually has the.
But I have to say, from what I've just seen, and I've only really paid attention in the last couple of years, but like Best Buy regularly has some really decent sales on video games. And then there's always something during like Black Friday or some of the bigger like retail sales holidays where I feel like, even if you have to wait to get what you want, like.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Tara, as far as waiting, like Leroy's saying right now, don't buy a console on release.
Yeah. Well, I'm like that with most technology.
The best time to buy a console, because typically consoles release in November. Holiday season, October, November.
Sure.
4 to 5 months from them is tax return season.
Yep.
Buy your console with your tax return. That way you have that 4 or 5 months for the reviews to start coming in and see. That's why when the PlayStation 4 came out, the first came out, or no, it was the Xbox One. I think it was the Xbox One. PlayStation 4. Which one was the one that had the overheating issues in the very beginning? It was PS4, right?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
I don't know. One of them had an overheating issue, and people were pissed off when they bought it on release.
Yep.
You should always give it that like 4 to 5 month or 4 to 6 month window for you to actually evaluate and see what's the best console. It's also going to give you that window to see which console's getting the better games.
Yeah. I've always had that kind of philosophy with technology in general, smartphones, computers, new technology, like when they come out with the touchscreen monitors or whatever. I like to let them get the baddies out in that first batch, you know what I mean? And then kind of see which brand is doing better, or maybe they have some fixes that they release in that second run.
Well,
for
that's,
sure.
that's always the better way of doing it with any type of technology. Because, I mean, effectively, when they release, they have QA, QC, and they have people who are doing the beta testing and the alpha testing and all that fun stuff. The reality of it is when the initial people who pre-order their stuff, they're their stress test people.
Yep.
They're the people who are going to, that they expect to break it and cause issues.
I was surprised that you didn't pitch more of a fit about me getting my phone.
Well,
because I got my cell phone on release.
It's not my cell phone.
I know, but I love my phone.
Well, it's not my cell phone. So. If you want to have your cell phone explode on your ear like all the other Samsungs do, then
that was never a Galaxy issue.
I'm just really bummed about having to wait to play all of those games that are coming out on release. Because a lot of them look really good.
Okay, let's look at your track record as far as games coming out. You haven't had every game that you thought we were going to have fun with.
No, it's only for this year.
Well,
it's the curse of 2020 is what it is.
And one game in last year in Kingdom Hearts. But
I mean, Kingdom Hearts we're going to actually give it to this year because it was at the end of last year.
No, Kingdom Hearts was January last year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Was it just that bad? It kind of kept that nasty taste in my mouth for that long?
It lingered.
Probably.
It was malingering.
It was like a fart that just kind of hangs around.
Well, that's because we didn't actually start talking about it until the beginning of this year, because that's when we started the show.
That's true. That's true. But hey, you still have the Fast and the Furious to look forward to.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I mean, at least with that, I know it's not going to be good.
I'm going to laugh my ass off if you get the Fast and the Furious game and it ends up being like this immaculately well-crafted game that's like levels of The Last of Us, one freaking character development and everything. I'm going to sit back and laugh my ass off.
I mean, that's impossible because I already know the Fast and Furious characters and I already know that I don't like them. I already know that I hate Vin Diesel. So
Wait. No, those are classics. They're timeless.
Yeah.
Deep characters that really tug at the soul.
Family.
What? Fast and the Furious?
Oh yeah.
Because they're all about family.
All about family.
Family is supposed to be lived a quarter mile at a time, right?
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, a quarter mile at a time.
I only spend time with a quarter of my family at a time.
Yes.
Wait,
I had this baby with this other lady while I thought you were dead.
Oh my god. Let's talk about that particular situation.
Wait, what? What are we talking about?
So in the eighth movie, have you seen any? Are you caught up on Fast and Furious?
Caught up is a relative term.
Okay, sure, whatever.
So
in the eighth movie, well, first of all, you realize that at some point.
I didn't know there was an eighth movie until he said eighth.
Okay, but you realize at some point Letty supposedly died, right? Vin Diesel's girlfriend.
Sure.
So in that time,
when she was dead,
in that time, he had a relationship with another girl. And in the eighth movie, we find out that they actually had a baby together. And, there's this whole drama throughout the movie. That's like the whole thing. So now we're in this awkward situation where he's back with his old girlfriend, but now he has a baby with this other girl. And in the laziest way ever to solve this triangle, they just killed the mother.
They killed the baby or the mother?
They killed the mother. They killed the mother. Like, let's not even deal with this love triangle. Let's just kill one
So,
of them.
Spoiler alert, the whole movie, all of his family thinks that Vin Diesel has turned on them. What they don't know is that the baby is being held over his head if he doesn't
do what he's
do
told.
what they say, which is to go after all of his friends, right? And that's the whole. And then at the end,
It is the true story of Superman turning evil.
it's like, well, what do we resolved the conflict. What are we going to do? Well, this baby mama will just die, and then you can help me raise my love child.
Let's take this baby and just continue on like it's
like I said, it's a classic story
Just
for the
kidding.
ages.
Now it's yours.
It's true Renaissance in our time.
You know what's really weird though is that they, in a tribute to Paul Walker, they named the baby after his character Brian, who in the movie wasn't actually dead. He just left. If you want to tribute to Paul Walker, you should have named the baby Paul.
Yeah.
Like why name the baby
or Walker?
Yeah.
Texas Ranger.
Why name the baby after a guy who's not even dead? Oh, he's just a really good friend, so I wanted to name
that
him.
we never talk to or see again for the next 6 movies.
At least until they get that certain amount of time has passed where they're allowed to digitally incorporate him into the film.
So they'll just CGI Paul Walker in.
They're gonna Princess Leia him.
And then kill him so that the tribute means
It'll
something.
have to be one of those things where all of a sudden, there's a really bad car accident.
Well, didn't
And
they
they
bring
find
back
out
another
that-
character? Didn't they bring back the Asian guy from Tokyo Drift?
Yeah.
Like, didn't he magically not die?
Well, he's supposed to come back in this next one that whenever it comes out, which is probably gonna be next year now. But
I mean,
yeah, he blew up in a car, but he's fine. No scars.
He blew up in there, but
It's fine.
No scars or
Fine,
anything. Nothing to show for it. He probably.
He had his seatbelt on, guys.
Well, he probably. It's probably going to turn out that he had all this reconstructive surgery to fix himself because we have all this great technology.
Or it's actually one of the bad guys that had a face-off surgery.
It's face-off.
And it's not really the Asian guy. He just looks like the Asian guy.
Oh, God. Or he's RoboCop.
He's rebuilt stronger, better, and faster. So now he has to track down his once comrades until eventually, through 2/3 of the movie down the line, they're going to the chip in his head's going to short circuit. Then he's going to lead them back to the people who had sent them to, and they're going to fight.
Yes.
While driving motorcycles on top of tractor trailers on top of a battleship.
Yes. And then Sarah Connor will show up randomly.
No, they're gonna put wings on the motorcycles and get them to fly.
There it is. See, that's the great thing about the Fast and Furious movies is that they've basically become our generation's version of Jaws, or Halloween, or Friday the 13th. Where
It just doesn't stop. It just keeps going.
They should have ended a long time ago, but you know what? We're just gonna keep making them more and more outrageous.
Did Jaws go on for that long? Did
Jaws went to 4 or 5?
I don't know. Longer than it should have.
Because they had Jaws 1, Jaws 2, Jaws 3, then Son of Jaws, and then I think so. Hold on.
Jaws Reloaded.
Yeah.
Was Sharknado in the Jaws?
I think that's actually one of the names of it.
No,
Shut up.
Sharknado is different.
You can't reload a Jaws. The title doesn't make sense.
Robo Jaws.
Jaws Unleashed.
I said Jaws, Jaws 2, Jaws 3D, Jaws the Revenge.
Jaws Unchained.
Oh my god, Jaws.
I think there should be a Robo Jaws.
Hit the plus sign because.
Wait, there's more?
Yeah, it says 4+.
Yeah, see all 4 plus? No, it's just 4.
Oh, okay.
It's just 4. I was really excited.
When is Jaws?
You remember in the movie in the movie Back to the Future where he goes to the future, there was Jaws 17 or something. It's the Jaws 3.
When does Jaws get thrown into the Godzilla universe? With all of those kaiju battles and shit.
I mean, it kind of already did with the Meg.
Okay.
With Jason Statham and everything, big Megalodon.
When does Jaws fight the Kraken?
Did they kill that at the end of that? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Okay. What if we had one where Jaws had his heart replaced with something that was connected to a battery, and he had to swim around with the battery attached to him while he killed people, and I don't remember.
What
They
about?
already did that with Jason in Friday, yeah,
So
it
you
was
wanna
Jason
turn
X goes
the
to
shark
space.
into
What
a
about-
monster deal?
That Statham movie, what was it called? Crank?
What? Oh yeah, Crank.
Oh, Crank!
Ah.
Oh,
But like
my God.
with a shark.
That was a fun movie.
Okay.
That was a fun. No, Crank was a fun movie.
I love that
Fun
movie.
But what about?
Especially when he grabs her outside in front of the bus and just goes to town. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
What about a movie where Jaws has to team up with the Navy to take down a bigger threat in the ocean?
Godzilla.
Godzilla or the
Yes.
Kraken?
No, we already have Godzilla versus King Kong happen.
Or Murder Hornets.
Murder
Well,
Hornets.
oh, that reminds me. Not only have they found murder hornets, since we're talking about shark, volcano sharks.
What the fuck is a volcano shark?
I don't know, but I saw something online about it. I'm looking it up now. There's actually volcano sharks now.
Do they live in lava?
Let's see. Volcano sharks are a small group of different species of sharks living and thriving in a hostile environment. They are extremely hot, acidic water surrounding the Kavachi, a highly active submarine volcano. So we've got volcano sharks now.
Oh, so they just live inside of a volcano, but still in the
Yep.
water.
Yep.
Just really hot water.
Yep, volcano sharks.
Okay.
Like their skin
Did
looks
I-
like it has.
I want to know,
volcano
do they
on it.
have laser beams?
Do they breathe
Like,
fire?
it looks like they have lava on their skin.
No, I think that's what they look like right there.
Not what that first picture showed.
Well, that fixed picture was like, hey, ooh, look at me, click on the page.
So do they have a dual resistance to fire and water?
I mean, they're cold as ice.
And okay.
That was gay. Good job.
I don't know, but we've got murder hornets and volcano sharks. So, I mean, what happens if they crossbreed?
Oh, there's different species of volcano sharks that
Oh.
were found.
There's different types. There's hammerhead volcano sharks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
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 Well, sure.
Yeah.
The fuck is a silky shark?
I don't know.
Silky.
Maybe it's like a silky chicken.
Like a shark in little green shorts.
Why?
Silkies?
How do you not know what silkies are?
How do you not know what silkies are? Stolen valor.
Okay, let's
Stolen valor.
I'm the nerdy farmer. When I hear silky,
but
I
you're
think chicken.
Also a
Chicken.
veteran,
Stolen
Okay.
valor.
but you are also a veteran.
But you are also
Shame on you.
allegedly.
And we
Wait a
see
minute, wait. Because are we talking about the ninja suit?
No, what?
The
silkies?
ranger panties. The little silky green shorts that were standard issue underwear.
The ninja suits are
I never got
Dog
standard issue little green underwear. I got the tan fucking with brown tidy whities.
no. We're not talking about underwear. We're talking about shorts.
I mean,
The shorts that you
the
run in.
shorts.
The shorts that you PT in.
It was like the
We just got
Those ones.
PT shorts.
yeah no.
But were they not short shorts?
No,
there's-
they were regular.
Have you
PT
never
shorts.
heard of a Silkies hike or a Silkies ruck or a run?
I was in a hospital.
The army wasn't that gay to have booty shorts for guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not saying it's not gay. I'm just saying it's a
Yeah.
thing.
No,
But
there's
no one is gayer than the Marines. I just want to point out, like,
Where
super homoerotic stuff going on in those
Yeah.
barracks.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean that's known.
That's known. That's a
Hey.
known thing.
Hey, so you know all this talk about Disney taking over Epic
Yes,
eventually
there's-
and shit?
Is that happening? Are we is that confirmed?
No, but there's the story here that says Sony just invested some money into Epic.
Some money. $250 million.
That's some money. That's just
There's actually a group.
So I think
that's
Sony's trying to
together
get a head
wearing
start
shorts
on
and go
Disney.
on rock marches.
Well, no, I heard somebody. Who was I talking
Disney is
to?
just going to eat
that,
Sony.
that Disney was looking into buying Sony.
Yeah. See?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Listen,
That's-
do you remember
that's
those
what I was
Left
looking at,
Behind
too.
books when they talked about the one world government that's going to be run by the Antichrist? I think it's Disney.
Well,
I already told you guys, I'm on Team Bezos.
Yeah, no, I know.
if Disney,
Hey, I'm good with that. As long as the
I'm
2-day
I'm
Prime
the United
shipping
Nation of
is still
Amazon.
included, I'm fine with that.
hey, so if Disney were to take over Sony, can they do it in the past? Because I guarantee you, The Last of Us 2 wouldn't have happened that way if
That's
Disney was
true.
in charge.
That's true.
Yeah, but he.
I mean, Joel still would have died, but like there would have been some
I don't know if that's entirely
shining
true because
beacon of hope.
Disney's acquiring things like they acquired Fox, and now they're acquiring. They're trying to acquire Sony, and they're trying to acquire Epic. I don't know if much would change other than the fact that there's little mouse ears somewhere on the stuff.
If Disney didn't have the balls to go the gray Jedi path in Star Wars, there's no way they would do The Last of Us 2 the way they
but
did.
look how social justice warrior the Star Wars movies were, and how social justice warrior The Last of Us 2 was.
So okay,
They seem pretty adamant on the social justice warrior stuff.
I realize that I'm about to poke a stick at a bee's nest when I say this, but I did not get any of the meme or any of the things that I'm reading as critiques about the latest Star Wars movies while I was watching them. Like I was just in it, consuming the story and kind of excited that there was a female character that wasn't a princess, and I didn't really see all the critiques until after.
That was always my defense for the series, was that people who enjoyed it just enjoyed it for what it was in the moment.
Yeah.
The people that hated it were thinking about all of the backstory and shit and how it didn't work out.
Well, it wasn't the fact that there was a female lead. I mean, it was cool. I liked, but the problem was the female lead was a Mary Sue. That was the problem.
What's a Mary Sue again? Just asking for a friend.
How do I explain it? A Mary Sue is like an individual who can do no wrong and was like too good. Like I don't know how to put it.
Yeah, I'm looking it up under TV tropes. Mary Sue is a derogatory term primarily used in fanfic circles to describe a particular type of character. This blah blah.
Is good at everything.
What that type of character is exactly differs widely from circle to circle. Okay, let's get into the
Okay,
point.
but I didn't. I think I disagree. I still don't know if I totally grasped Mary Sue, but for me, I was very intrigued by which way this connection she had with
Kylo
was going to go. I wasn't sure. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
You know how you felt? Okay, this will make it'll make a lot of sense for you. That's why I hate the new series a lot. You know how you felt when Abby killed Joel?
Sure.
That's how I felt when Kylo killed Solo.
That's 100% valid. And if I hadn't just gone through the trauma that I had been through, I might not understand. But that's a very good analogy.
So here's something.
Because it was a sad moment.
Prototypical Mary Sue is an original female character in a fanfic.
Mary Sue is a Mary Poppins,
who serves as an idealized version of the author, mainly for the purpose of wishful thinking. She's exotically beautiful, having a blah blah blah. She's exceptionally talented and implausibly wide variety of areas, and she may possess skills that are rare or non-existent in the canon setting.
Yep.
She also lacks any realistic or at least story-relevant character flaws.
Yep, that's what a Mary Sue is, and that's what Rey was.
She is basically a female character that is very protected and just great at
She
everything.
was covered in plot. It's like perfect example in the first movie after the tragedy of Solo. She goes and she fights Kylo Ren, who was a trained individual in lightsaber combat, who knew what the hell he was doing, yet somehow she was able to stave them off and hurt him.
No, well, I get that criticism, but the argument is that he was wounded severely by Chewie's blaster.
That's a bunch of bullcrap.
But it was true.
But no.
So
it's like she was able to go and do stuff with when she was training with Luke and do all this stuff that was just way out of proportion for her ability at that point in time. But hey, she could just do it because she's racist.
Well, okay.
didn't Luke do that too?
No. The cutscenes when Luke was on Dagobah with Yoda wasn't just like a couple hours. It was weeks at a time. Weeks and weeks, and he was barely able to fucking levitate one or two rocks. Okay? She's out there
I'm not
fucking cracking shit and everything.
So I'm not arguing so much the fact that she is somewhat of a Mary Sue, but that overpowered stuff can also be kind of argued with the fact that, like, her being the last Jedi or one of the last remaining Jedis means that because the Force is all about balance, all of the Jedi powers are going to this one person.
That's also not true because they show in the was the end of the second movie where everybody's a Jedi. The kid had like the fucking broom and he was sweeping and had Jedi powers and stuff.
What do you mean everyone was a Jedi other than that one kid?
That was the implication of that ending.
Was it?
Yes.
Because one kid had some kind of powers.
I only saw that like
that was the implication that anybody could be a Jedi. It just wasn't just a Skywalker thing, or it wasn't somebody who was special. Everybody could have Force powers.
But then they turned that around in the third movie because it was all about the Skywalkers and
exactly.
And the
That's why everybody got so goddamn pissed off because they set a precedent in the second movie, which wasn't great. But it was like, okay, I can see how this could be really interesting.
Hey, are you touching your tits?
More Jedi and more Sith.
I didn't think I was.
They turned it around and they flipped it.
I did have some cinnamon roll crumbs up here that I was brushing.
You were creating the illusion of
my bad
booby touching.
My bad. No booby touching. I'm going to be honest. I did not. So when the kid had Force powers, I was like, oh, cool. There's like a future generation. There's other stories to be told. And then
there's more children to be killed by a new Darth Vader.
And then, well, because there's been a theme here. For me, what I saw that as is that both Anakin and Kylo Ren killed a bunch of younglings. And so it was like there weren't younglings because they had been 2 generations of them had been wiped out. But there are still some out there. Like, there is a future, just maybe not the Skywalker line.
I like how you.
I don't know. Maybe that's
the term
interpretation, but I took that as them saying at the end of the movie. And I think they actually did an interview with who was it that did the second movie?
Rian Johnson.
Yeah, they did an interview with him, and he actually clarified that was his direction. He wanted to make it so that being a Jedi wasn't just about the Skywalkers or the Obi-Wans. It was about anybody could be a Jedi.
Yeah, but with anything, I felt like Rey being a Palpatine reinforced that.
Reinforced that anybody could be a Jedi?
But reinforced that it's not just about the Skywalkers.
Right.
It's not just about Skywars, but it's just about 2 specific families. Like the whole point of like the whole reason why the third movie was so disappointing was because it basically said that like all of this shit that has happened throughout these 9 movies, it was all Palpatine versus Skywalker. No one else has this power. No one else deserves it. Yeah. It's these 2 families.
The end of the second movie,
I just didn't get that. I'm not saying that's not what it was. I just did not get that. I was so engrossed in who is Rey. I was so curious. And then when she was a Palpatine, it was something I actually didn't see coming, which at this point I didn't think was possible.
It shouldn't have been possible. Palpatine should be dead.
It should have never have happened. Palpatine should have died in the Death Star when they chopped him in half and set him down the thing and then it blew up.
Okay,
Well,
Nerdy Web is
no,
not gonna
but
have this conversation.
he came back because
but he died off camera,
I don't know Star Wars, so
so
I'm out.
if they
Don't
die
think about
off
this a lot
camera,
more, so.
then that's subject to
he
interpretation.
used the Force.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. That's
There is no death. There is only the Force.
I don't know. I don't know.
But if you want to talk about some prime Mary Sue examples, though, in the previous two trilogies, in the second movie, Anakin and Luke both get their hands cut off.
yeah.
Rey did not. She
Yep.
She never had a hand getting cut off moment of
Nope.
failure. Even in the third movie, when she possibly had that moment when we thought Chewie died, they turned it around like 10 minutes later. Oh no, he's fine.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's her Mary Sue ness.
Speaking of movies, here we could talk about this. I finally caught up on all the Marvel movies.
How far behind were you?
Finally watched Endgame.
Whoa.
Oh, dude, where the fuck have you been?
Whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
Finally caught up on them. I had to say that Endgame was a piece of shit.
Why?
Didn't like it. I had some cool scenes. The fight scene with Captain America, badass.
Was it
Fight
because
scene.
you didn't direct it? Tell the truth.
Is it because it didn't give you choice?
No, they fucking killed Iron Man.
That's
Oh,
why you
yeah.
hate it? Because of one fucking thing?
Because you're feeling he got his feelers.
Somebody had to fucking die.
That's
At least
true.
they had the balls to kill somebody.
That's what I appreciated
Well,
about
they
it.
also got rid of Captain America too.
Captain
Well,
America is clear.
Captain America gets on my fucking nerves.
Captain
Talk
America-
about a Mary fucking Sue.
No, but Captain America, it's already been established in the comics that Captain America at some point moves on, and that
Captain America was supposed to die in Civil War.
okay.
He was?
Yes.
But now you're mad that they actually had the balls to kill someone with Iron Man?
But you
Yes.
can't have a narrative where America loses the Civil War. That doesn't work.
No, damn it, Tara. No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Captain America is supposed to be shot and killed by, I think, Deadshot or Deadpool or somebody. He's like shot and killed dead. And that's supposed to be the catalyst for people to, take either one or the other side.
Are you making up characters? Who's Deadshot?
Because originally, Peter Parker in the comic books was on the side with Stark, and then when Captain America gets shot and killed, Peter Parker goes, "Oh no, that's not cool," and then jumps on the other side.
Okay, but they decided to tell a different story. That was, the whole Civil War started because of something else in the
Can
movie.
I just tell you, my little heart was so happy that Captain America got to go back and
Crossbows, thank you.
and love what's her name?
Peggy.
Oh,
Peggy.
Agent
Addie. Am.
something.
Peggy. Pam? Peggy. Pam. Peggy.
I don't think it was Agent something. Smithers?
What? That's her last name.
Smithers. Her first name was Agent.
Oh, okay.
Duh.
Starts with an S.
Anyway, whatever, that chick. I love that he got to live his life with her, and they were able.
No. Hold on. Let's go back to the movie was shit because Iron Man died. Is that it?
No, it was just the whole premise of the ending of the movie I did not like.
What?
There wasn't a handoff.
What do you
There
mean?
wasn't a handoff for the next generation. Like if you read the comics and look through like a lot of the animated series and everything.
Captain America literally handed off his shield to a new Captain America. I don't know how you can hand off harder than that.
But he didn't chain him. There wasn't like that period of.
He's been training for the last 3 movies.
No, they didn't see it. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. I didn't see it.
They just defeated Thanos together.
And by the way, I didn't like how they defeated Thanos.
Because Iron Man died.
No, that's not the only reason. Because there's a really cool fight scene in the comic books where they fight Thanos, and Thanos tries to use the stones against them, like individually, and he does it in the wrong order. So, like, he makes Thor really, really old, and Asgardians get stronger as they get older. So he used the time stone on Thor, and so Thor's like kicking his ass. He does something to Hulk, and Hulk's able to fucking kick his ass. He uses the Mind Stone, Reality Stone on Captain America, and Captain America's able to see through because he's got the purest heart and able to see everything. And,
He's the definition of a Mary Sue.
Okay, but realistically, if all of this detail that you wanted in the comics was supposed to happen in the movie, then the end battle would have been its own movie.
Yes. See, and that's something I discussed
yes.
with Obsidian. But that's something I discussed with Obsidian. It's okay. I'm not saying that the movie. I guess me saying the movie is shit was saying it's shit. Okay, I'll retract that statement. The movie was shit to me because I personally, having been a person who read the comics, had an envisionment of what was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen.
Thanos was right all along.
It's true.
After
2020 happened, if this movie had come out in 2020, I would have been like, yeah, that needs to happen.
Probably.
Go ahead.
But no, that's my point. Like,
Help
as
us,
a comic
Thanos, you're
reader,
our
I
only hope.
expected one story to be told, and they changed my story. Like, have you ever done that? You ever read a book and then watched the movie and be like, oh.
So this just goes back to your overall mentality of not liking video games or movies because it doesn't go the way you want.
Is that such a bad mentality of wanting what I want?
No, it's just
it's
predictable.
Wanting what you want is not bad in itself, but judging everything based off of it not being what you want it hurts your enjoyment of anything.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed the fight scene where Captain America picked up Mjolnir. That was great.
When he picked up what?
Mjolnir?
Mjolnir. The hammer. The hammer.
You don't know what Thor's hammer is called?
Yeah. That was nice.
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
But I just didn't. I wanted. Here's the thing. I just wanted the story that I knew. I didn't want them to change it. I mean, I don't like. But there's lots of like Jurassic Park, for example. I understand why stories can be changed to fit better for the audience. Because in Jurassic Park, the original book, Dr. Malcolm is supposed to die.
I didn't even know Jurassic Park had books until recently.
Oh, really?
Was today years old when I found out Jurassic Park was a book.
Yeah, so no one cared. No one who watches Jurassic Park probably cares about the books because they're not really...
Because they didn't know they existed.
But the books are better.
Nobody cares.
Well, that's... Okay. So, that is something that I think books are better. They're a better method of storytelling because you get thought and intent from inside the characters' heads that you don't get in movies.
Here's a perfect example, Tara. Now, the Harry Potter movies followed the books fairly closely, from what I understand, but are there aspects of the books that you wish that were in the movies or they didn't tell right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. But that actually, you're just proving my point of what I just said, is that there's so much detail and inner turmoil that goes on in Harry's thoughts and in between the characters that there is no possible way for them to put in the movie unless the movie was going to be, there's going to be 20 movies and each of them was going to be 7 hours long. Like, it's just not doable.
But see, now you're proving my point by saying that it's acceptable for me to go into a movie and be like, this is what I know the story of, and I want to see this story played out on the big screen because I've waited my whole life to see it, and you go in there and it's not that story.
Well, I just don't think I can expect that. Like, I knew the movies were not going to do that for me because it was impossible.
It's something you have to always expect going into a movie that you know is based off of a written story. You know it's not going to be the same. It can't be the same. It's a different medium. It's a different audience generally. It has to be told a different way, a certain way, a more condensed way.
Yeah, and it's all like a book is going to tell a story in a way that a movie can't, but a movie will tell a story in a way that a video game can't. A video game will tell a story in a way that involves you in the story better than books or movies. You know what I mean? So it's like each one has a different
Tara's never
Strength.
You've apparently never read one of those choose your own path books.
I have.
You know, those things back from like the early 90s.
I do. The Goosebumps ones were my
You know they made
favorites.
Star Wars ones?
But my point is, yeah, I really liked. To me, I felt like that Endgame really allowed, with the exception of maybe, well, actually, with no exceptions, I felt like all of the characters, they had developed them so well over all the rest of the movies that they were complex enough that they were able to actually finish it in a way that felt plausible.
They should have had someone else put on the gauntlet. It was that simple. You know, if for example, if What's-Her-Nuts, Captain Marvel was so goddamn powerful, why didn't she put on the gauntlet?
You never got a chance.
She held it!
Wait.
She took it from Peter Parker.
Are you talking about the glove?
Yes.
I thought it was established that nobody needed that much power.
Okay, but why didn't she put on the gauntlet?
Because she's a stupid, fucking stereotypical blonde version of Captain America that we didn't need in the first place.
Who, Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on... Now you've got me started on Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel was supposed to be a man! Okay?
Since when?
They didn't follow the storyline for that either.
Since when?
Why did you need a Captain Marvel when there was already a Captain America?
No, Captain Marvel...
At least Captain Marvel with boobs gives me something to look at.
Her husband is supposed to die of cancer, and then she becomes Captain Marvel. That's how it's supposed to be. Oh, that was one of the most touching moments in all comic book history, when all the comic book characters came together and basically gave Captain Marvel a send-off when he died of cancer.
Well, Obsidian, as I pointed out just now, boobs is why we care.
I think he's saying it more to
it's not that I care what the gender was so much. It was the fact that I cared that they didn't follow the proper storyline for who Captain Marvel is.
I just did not connect at all with Captain Marvel and could have done without the character.
But my point is, so if Captain Marvel was so powerful, why didn't she put on the glove? She had it in her hands.
Probably because she was planning her next centerfold, because she's a blonde female who's perfect in every way and powerful in every way. And
since when did you hate Captain Marvel? I thought you liked it, the movie.
I mean, it was all right. But I didn't like her from the moment I saw the previews, because she's like Superman, perfect in every way and therefore not relatable.
Thank you. You know, I just, you know, and here's the other thing. You guys remember in the end of, was it Guardian of the Galaxy, either 1 or 2? Remember the golden guy that they showed that they had in development, you know, at the end of the movie, the end scenes? You know who that was? That was Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is the person who puts on the Infinity Gauntlet at the end of the Infinity Cycle in the comics. So why didn't Adam Warlock show up?
Well, that was one of the disappointments, that they actually teased that and they had decided to just not include him. Because he was supposed to be a big part in the fucking taking down Thanos.
I don't know if I remember who that is.
Because you're not supposed to. He's a very obscure comic book character.
Got it.
But the point is they alluded to him. That was everybody knew that, like, everything that they pointed at. This is why it kind of irritates me, because everything they pointed at in like these little sneak peeks at the end of all these movies literally pointed out that the end game was supposed to end the way that it ended in the comics, and then they're like, nope, we're gonna kill Iron Man. Captain America's gonna go back in time and get old, and Thanos is gone forever, which is crazy because Thanos shouldn't be gone forever. There's so many different storylines that can involve him. Well,
Thanos is gone forever because that's the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They're not trying to They're not trying to keep him alive for more story. This isn't a comic book series that can just go on forever. This is a movie series that they wanted an end to, like a hard end.
Because these actors are going to get old and die. And then then
Okay,
we
but
try
they
to
can have old Tony Stark training the new Iron Man.
Well, maybe his daughter will grow up to be Iron Woman.
Actually, that's the thing.
That is a thing.
That is the thing.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
Oh, I wouldn't be mad at that either, but I'd rather see Tony Stark seeing his daughter grow up.
Well, yeah. I wish
Tony Stark give his daughter at
You know what I would rather see?
16,
I would rather see Joel walk Ellie down the aisle at Ellie and Dina's wedding, but guess what's not going to happen, nerdy?
Well, yeah, but
Abby
we've
just
agreed that
dies.
that's a crap video game, and I thought we were talking about it anymore. I thought that was the game that shall not be mentioned.
I would like to play.
It's true.
I would like to play a game where we play as Allie or Abby on her path.
Allie, you combine them two.
No, Abby on her path of vengeance, and at the end of the game, she just fails and dies.
Yeah.
She doesn't get her vengeance.
And
That's a great story.
yeah, I like that story.
I don't know. I did not like how Endgame ended. I'm sorry. I'm sure that, and to be fair, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there like me.
No, I know. There's a lot of hardcore comic book fans who don't like it because it's not the same. I get that. That's how I feel about all the DC stuff. Not that I'm a hardcore DC comic fan. I just said DC Comics. That's fine.
It's not necessarily a happy ending, Obsidian. It's necessarily they didn't follow the storyline that I grew up with and loved.
It wasn't what you wanted.
The point.
That's the no. At the end of the day, it's not what you wanted. That's it. Fine.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
I mean,
That's fine.
It's if somebody promised me filet mignon and brings me out tuna fish sandwich, I'm not going to be happy.
That's
It
fair.
might be a really fucking good tuna fish sandwich, but it's still not going to be what I wanted.
What happened with the Beyonder? Was that ever a thing in the movies?
I don't remember.
I don't know about that.
I don't know what the Beyonder is.
Beyonder being in there. All right. So we talked about movies. We talked about the game that shall not be named. We talked about video game price increase. We have any other small news stories we want to touch up on?
Somehow we always find a way to get into Star Wars. It's the same thing over and over
It's
again.
pervasive, though.
Did we talk about Tencent launching their own streaming platform?
Really?
What?
Tencent is like a big mobile game company. It is the mobile game company.
They've started buying up AAA games, and they're going to release some AAA games.
Obsidian, what language is that?
I don't know what we're looking at. Go cook your own damn food. Like if Thanos had a giant...
That's Obsidian. He would if he could. That's his thing. He liked to tell the story himself. He would much prefer to cook his own food.
When you finish cooking your food and then you eat it, are you like thinking, man, I wish I could have gone back and made this other choice and prepared it differently? I'm just not satisfied.
There are times where the food doesn't hit the spot. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I do that. I should have put the onions in while the meat was cooking, and they would be.
Are you saying that that I have some sort of
Well, so what Tara said last time was a god complex, or something?
That's not fair, but it's still funny.
Maybe I have a little bit of a god complex.
Hey,
anyway, yeah. So Tencent's starting their own streaming stuff. Dr. Disrespect. The news has finally come out that he's moving to Spotify.
Spotify has streamers.
Okay, but is that why he got banned? Is it because he was in talks?
I think that's exactly why. Because
we still don't know exactly why he got.
He signed the contract with fucking Twitch. I'm just saying, he signed a big contract with Twitch.
If that's the reason why he got banned, though, I still am curious about that last stream where he just seemed really upset about something and just abruptly ended.
What if it was all a stunt?
Maybe.
What? Dr. Disrespect?
What if the whole suddenly ending the stream after mysterious text message was all a publicity stunt, so we're trying to figure out what's going to happen, and then he's like, I'm going to Spotify.
Well, that's the thing. Like, people wouldn't be able to put it past Dr. Disrespect to do something like that because he's done crazy publicity stunts before. But to destroy, like, it's one thing. I mean, you know, AD. It's one thing to just like end your stream and not come back. It's another thing to like have all your VODs deleted and the channel, the URL, no longer existing. That's two entirely different. That goes beyond publicity stunt, especially if somebody as big as Dr. Respect and to go as far as to also have Twitch refund everybody their because they did that too. They refunded them their subscription to Dr. Disrespect.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So I think at that point it goes well beyond just, you know, this is a publicity stuff.
Spider-Man Far From Home. What about it, Obsidian? I've seen it.
Whoa! Why are we hating on Doctor Strange?
Because he hates how Dormammu was represented. Which I mean, I can agree with that because he was a very minor.
Wait, what was the Dormammu again?
The
big bad at the end of Doctor Strange.
Oh, the big evil glob in the sky?
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
He never actually got like a humanoid figure represented. He was just a big face in the sky. Or
big
whatever.
angry man in the sky. What does that remind me of?
Big angry man in the sky. 80?
Huh? Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. He could be angry because AD doesn't have emotions.
No.
Like even
if I am the God complex, then AD is definitely the balance.
I am the balance.
He's the balance in the Force.
Far From Home did the handoff.
I haven't seen Far From Home yet.
You should see it. This is
because that's the most recent one, right?
Yeah. If we want to talk about another topic, what's his name? Tom Holland, the best Spider-Man. Easily the best Spider-Man.
I like Tobey Maguire's
You can
Spider-Man.
go fuck yourself.
Wait, hold on.
That was quick.
Up until he started dancing and acting like a jackass.
Tobey Maguire was too much of a bitch. Was a little bit. The thing about the other two Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire was too much of a bitch, and Andrew Garfield was too cool. It was too cool for Peter Parker. Tom Holland gets it perfect. Like he's the right kind of goofiness, and you know, he's just a kid. He's just a.
Yeah, but that was the thing. I think they were supposed to show them at different like the Garfield Spider-Man was supposed to be an older Spider-Man, a more established Spider-Man, versus the Tom Holland, or not Tom Holland, but Tobey Maguire one, where he's like the beginning Spider-Man.
Well, no, because Andrew Garfield was also it was still the Spider-Man origin story. The first movie was him becoming Spider-Man. It was just a really because they replayed the whole freaking uncle dying and getting bit by the spider.
They didn't do that in fucking
because the one reason why I'm so glad they didn't revisit it is because it's so overdone in Batman. Every time you see Batman, you have to see his parents dying.
Well, but that's his motivation.
And his mother's name is Martha.
For a psychiatric condition.
And his mother's name is Martha.
Why are you saying that name?
Oh yeah.
Sorry, you're gonna get another Batman movie. It's coming again.
And we're gonna see his parents die again.
Again. You know, but
is this the Twilight Batman?
I think so. Is that still happening? The Robert Pattinson Batman?
I think so.
Oh, gross.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I actually liked What's-His-Face's Batman.
Who, Ben Affleck?
Yep.
I agree. That's what I was saying, and me and Tara had an argument. He is a much better Bruce Wayne than Christian Bale was.
Well, let's see what they... Christian Bale was a very... Yeah, Affleck is a better Bruce Wayne. Christian Bale did a really good Batman.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like Ben Affleck just did a better Bruce Wayne. He wasn't a bad Batman. Like it's arguable between him and Christian Bale, but I think he was definitely a better Bruce Wayne.
Well, here's my thing. I don't think they should have gotten rid of Ben Affleck as Batman. They should have gone back. Do you remember?
Well, did they get rid of him or did he quit?
Yeah, he quit because he didn't even want to be Batman in the first place.
Yeah.
He just had to make some money so he could buy another stupidly large engagement ring for some other woman that's going to leave him.
Well, see, Ben Affleck would have been great if they would have like. I was talking with Obsidian about this. We went into pretty deep into this. Batman versus Superman. Hate or like?
Hate.
Okay. Justice League. Hate or like? Okay. Aquaman. Hate or like?
Hate.
You hated Aquaman, really?
Love.
Hey, shut up. Just because you like Aquaman doesn't... Shut up.
You can discredit my reasons, but that doesn't change the fact that I love it.
Okay. Wonder Woman, hate or like?
Nah.
Okay.
It was fine up until the end.
Yeah, I was
Shazam, hate or like?
Who? Shazam? Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Okay. And what was the last?
Wait, what was the first one that AD hated?
Batman versus Superman.
Okay.
Didn't watch it.
And the Superman movies, hate or like?
Man of
Hate.
Steel?
Yeah.
Eh.
Hate them all.
Well, let's go more towards hate, but overall, meh.
Okay. Wow.
Somewhere between meh and hate.
You're killing
Negative
my
meh.
argument because I was gonna say they would have done it better if they would have actually done a movie for each character.
Well,
For example,
they rushed it because they got jealous of Marvel.
Obsidian, yes, I do.
Batman versus Superman, where he's in the Batcave and he looks up and he sees Robin's costume and it says "ha ha ha" on it. They should have done the story behind that.
Do you remember?
They could have done, Death in the Family or The Killing Joke or something.
Do you also remember Batman versus Superman, where he gets Lex Luthor's little data card or whatever with all of the superheroes on it, and they already have their logos and shit? Like, did Lex Luthor just create these logos for these superheroes?
No, I think he just took it off of what he saw on them.
Well, but they didn't become who they were yet, so where did they get their logos from? Like, the Flash wasn't the Flash yet. Cyborg wasn't Cyborg.
No, it was
Wonder Woman was established, but like the other ones.
I mean, Superman was established.
Sure.
You know why else I like Aquaman? Besides the fact that he's beautiful? His love interest is a redhead.
Oh my god. Do you want to know? Do you want to know that has never been the more perfect tie-in? Let's get into that. You go into that.
Who? Me?
His love interest? Do you know who played his love interest?
I don't remember who the actress was.
Amber Heard?
I'm drawing a blank here.
Johnny Depp?
Oh.
God.
Wow.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Wait,
So,
did something else happen?
Well,
Well,
you
he
know
told her
what's
court.
been going on, right? With the whole abuse bullshit.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I knew, yeah, and she videoed him and the video leaked.
Well, it finally went to court, and he basically discredited everything she said. Now it's flipping, and she's going to go to jail.
Really?
Which is
That's what it's looking
justice.
Which is what it's looking like. It's looking like that he went in there and he tore her a whole new one, discredited basically everything she said, and it's now looking like he's going to get justice for the fucking bullshit, which is absolutely
So she,
fair, because he's the one being
trapped-
abused.
She trapped or I'm
Well, do you know what happened originally?
maybe I don't.
So originally he was charged with all this abuse and shit because she came out with all these stories, and of course she's a woman. Everyone
Right.
believes her side.
Yeah.
And he was even fired from Pirates of the Caribbean because of that.
Okay, yes,
Which is
I knew
bullshit,
that.
and I refuse to watch any more Pirates because Johnny Depp is Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
But then eventually, I guess he released like a recording of her like yelling at him and just verbally abusing him and I guess throwing shit at him or something.
Oh, I didn't know about
And
that.
yeah, so now everyone's turning around on her and calling her out and being a fucking lying ass bitch, and she's getting her shit handed to her. So
Yep. Johnny Depp's taking her to court. Now it's looking like there might be criminal charges, and all the lawsuits that she had against her is being, just thrown away. You know what Johnny Depp should do?
kill her.
Since they fired him from Pirates of the Caribbean for this whole scandal thing, he should turn around. I mean, and I know it'd be really hard for him to win because if you ever look into what Disney requires of their people who work for them, it's fucking insane. But he should go back and try to sue the fuck out of Disney.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to state that on the record, I think it was on a stream, so it's probably verifiable. I came out when Amber Heard released that video she took of Johnny Depp, drunkenly yelling or breaking plates, whatever he was doing, that I personally volunteered to, if that was what it took to be with Johnny Depp, I was 100% on board. Sign me up.
So what you're saying is you are willing to be the redhead to replace Johnny Depp's wife?
Yes, I will take a beating like a real woman.
And she would also love to play Mira in Aquaman.
Yes. So I'll just
and you'd like a sex scene with Aquaman. That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
Aquaman was missing a sex scene. That's what would have put it over. Okay.
Wait. Aquaman sequel, the porno.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should
That
do.
has to exist.
I'm sure it does.
I'm sure it does.
But not with Jason Momoa. That's the
don't
key
right
here.
now.
That's true.
And I have absolutely no qualms about goggling or drooling over muscles and men and shirtlessness, because if it's okay for boobage, boob velocity, boob bouncing to be a thing, then I will take my drooling to the bank. I am a carnal human being just like everyone else. And let's have a fully nude sex scene between Aquaman and a hot girl. I'm totally down with that.
Boob? I'm still back. What the hell is boob velocity?
Well, like, I'm sure there's some kind of math to how they make girl characters in video games.
It is the speed at which the
bounce.
boobs jiggle.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is the actual technical term for jiggle physics. Is that what
Jiggle
we're doing?
physics.
The speed and
involves
and
boob
trajectory
velocity.
of the boob jiggle.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
There's size and you know. Yes.
We have digressed. So far, I think it's time we talk about.
We get to this point in every show, and here we are.
Yep.
You know,
let's talk about the upcoming video games in the next week or two. What do we got coming up?
Ghost of Sushi.
All right, how do you feel about that one, AD? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I don't
you said
know.
You're kind of
What?
cautious on it.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh,
Sushi.
I
Sashimi.
thought you meant like raw fish.
Ghost of the Dead Fish.
Of the dead fish. Okay.
I don't know, man. Like, the beginning of the year, I was like, okay, this is gonna be my summer game. I'm definitely gonna do it. But like after what I've been through, man, I am just so.
You're very guarded.
I have so much trauma.
Yeah.
From 2020's games so far. It's like, I don't know if I
post-traumatic game disorder.
And plus with plus with me having to be a little bit more cautious financially, it's like, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know, because from what we've seen of the game, it doesn't look like, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's going to be worth it. It might be a fun game and it might be enjoyable, but like, is it really something I want to jump into for like?
Well, hold on, before we get that far, what's coming up on the summer of gaming? Doesn't Jeff Keighley has some stuff coming up for Xbox this week too?
This week? I don't think so. I think Xbox is in a couple of weeks.
I thought it was like in the middle of July. I don't remember. Let me see if I can't find the actual. Oh, I see. Hold on. Chris. If I can find it.
July 23rd.
When?
July 23rd.
So, not this week, next week.
Which is a Thursday. Why do they always do it on Thursdays?
I can't even find the fucking.
You know what's funny though? This article that says, what to expect from the July event. The cover photo is Fable.
Is it? I can't even get to the fucking thing because my favorites like reset themselves because the Windows updated. God damn it. What's the URL for that? Or just like price search?
Yeah, it was. Oops. It was the. God damn it!
You did it again.
It was the first result on my Google, and Bingham.
Yeah, so we
whatever
have-
the fuck it is.
Well, I mean, the rumor is that there's supposed to be some Fable work going out anyway. I mean, let's be clear. We said before that the Xbox is going to have to bring it big. If they don't bring it big, they may as well just hand over this generation to Sony
They
also.
might as well just scrap the whole Series X, just throw it in the trash can, even though it won't fit in the trash can. But you know.
I don't know. People are saying that the PlayStation is going to be bigger than the Xbox.
It doesn't look like it. Maybe,
I mean,
well, wider maybe.
Physically?
Maybe wider, but the Xbox is definitely bulkier.
you think?
It's got girth.
The game controller looks fat.
Yeah,
Well, the
that's
PlayStation
what,
controller looks like a
it's
chick
probably
who
gonna be the
has
same
a
size as
strapless
the current
tank
ones.
top on, and you're playing with her boobies
Who cares what it looks like as long as it feels good?
while playing with.
As long as the boobies feel good.
That's fine.
All right. Well, we got that coming up this week for gaming. Oh, hey, Death Stranding's coming out on PC.
I've seen that. Hey, did we actually, when we originally talked about the Series X, we speculated that maybe it was because they were releasing multiple versions. They are coming out with the Series S, which is like a cheaper version.
You actually
It's
like
like the
look at
Switch
PS5?
Lite.
I don't.
They're still
I think the PS5 looks ugly as sin. I really don't like it. Paper Mario comes out this week, so if you're a Mario fan, Paper Mario the Origami King.
What Mario?
Origami King.
What Mario?
Paper Mario
Oh,
the
Paper
Origami
Mario.
King.
I didn't know they were still doing Paper Mario.
Yeah, we're doing that one. And then
I don't understand these letters that they go with. The S and the X. Like, what do these letters mean?
it's very clear.
Xbox.
You know,
How do you know that?
The S stands for super.
No, but how are you
X stands
supposed
for
to know?
extreme.
How are you supposed to know that X is better than S?
It comes after it in the alphabet.
But like,
But like,
what
what
if it was-
happened to making an A?
what if it was Y? Y is not a really significant letter. Do you know that Y is better than
I
S?
want an Xbox Q.
Yeah.
God. All right, we have digressed. Other than that, I don't see any more fucking.
I'm offended that
there's
Q-
Rural Humans. I'm looking forward to that one.
Doesn't get enough. There's no letter equality.
They might as well have named it the Xbox Series Q, because what other use does Q have? One of the most useless letters
It's
in
true.
the alphabet.
It can't even stand alone. It has to
can't
have
even
you
stand
there
alone.
all the time.
Well, I think there's words that it stands alone.
Not the only words that have a Q by itself are not originally English.
I was gonna
They
say
are
like
adapted
quinoa,
from
like,
they
but I don't
are
think that's
adapted from
original
other languages. Even quinoa is QU.
Oh, is it? But yeah, looks like there's.
I actually had a discussion with Soul Creek about this. There's like 3 letters that are just useless: C, Q, and Y.
Wait, C?
C is either a K sound or an S sound.
True.
Or it goes with the H and makes like the sound from my name.
Yeah, so the only time C is useful is when it's,
with
another
another
letter.
That's fair.
Right, but then my name couldn't exist without the C, so I'm going to stand by the fact that C is useful.
Your name is not even pronounced the way it originally is supposed to be. But wait, no,
There's
your
no
name.
C in Nerdy Farmer.
Yeah. No, but even without the CH in your name, it still makes a K sound. So what's the difference?
Put a K in there.
I mean,
It's
I mean,
fine.
fair, I go by Mike, but
But yeah, like Michael originally is a freaking Hebrew name, which is supposed to be Mikhail or Mikhail or whatever it is.
no, originally Michael was the name of an angel. He came before the Hebrews.
Yeah, but all of the angels.
How do you figure that?
But all of the angels are.
Wait, I'm sorry. How do I figure the angels came before the Hebrews?
But didn't the Hebrews invent the angels?
No, nope. It's the other way around.
The angels invented the Hebrews.
If you believe in religion, then yes, the angels came first. If you believe that
I
religion,
believe in. I'm just gonna stop.
But like
Oh my
You're trying
God,
to convince
yeah.
me that the things that aren't real that have been made up came before the people that made them up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which is a hard sell for me.
I mean, for me, like, you know, there's actually like, we're actually like, you know, like a somebody's got like, you know, what do you put lightning bugs in? A little jar.
Yeah,
We're technically a little jar in the gods.
like in Men in Black, we're a gym walker somewhere.
Yeah, we're just like, you know,
Who's Sophia?
on some dogs, you know.
What is a Sophia, Leroy?
Sophia is God. I don't know what a Sophia is either. Sophia was the name of this child when I was working in a daycare when I was younger. That was the absolute awful child who fucking was just a disaster all the time.
God that made our universe is Yaldabaoth. Yeah. Leroy's religion is based off of Persona, which is it's not
I can
bad.
get behind that. I can get behind that.
Fine.
Yeah.
Although
All right,
although Persona religion is based off of other religion. What?
It's recycled religion.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
green.
goodness!
It's
I've
green
run out of
religion.
topics. I've given out everything I've got. I'm done.
All right.
Done. We've gone from boobages to the creation of the universe. I'm done.
Yep. What else is there to talk about? We've covered it all.
I think so.
Yeah,
All right,
Yaldabaoth.
our
It
next
wasn't it based off of
Untitled Nerd show
a
will be what,
Gnostic
next week?
mythology?
AD's still stuck on religion. We've lost AD.
Well, because I'm talking to our viewers like a good streamer
He reads
does.
the chat. You know those letters? over
I
there?
read it too.
You know, like how as a streamer you have viewers and you have to actually pay attention to them.
No.
I pay attention to
Maybe
them.
that's why people give you all those shit messages.
Oh, wow. Oh, Lobla.
You never pay attention to us.
Wow. I'm just gonna electrocute myself now. But all right. But yeah, I have nothing.
I think
else.
all the horses are dead.
Yep, we've beaten the horses fully and officially.
With our golf clubs.
The horses are beaten as dead as Joel. So it's time
Indeed.
to go.
It's time.
It's time to smile away, AD.
I guess.
I think so.
All right. Good day, everybody.
We'll see you
Thanks for
guys
joining
next
us.
week.
Bye.
Smile away.